Good evening. This is Anne-Marie Reynolds with my reading Autobiography. I find this is an intriguing and exciting assignment for a librarian such as myself. So I guess we better get started. I was born in England, and my family immigrated to Canada, and that's my first reading experience. I went through up to third grade in Canada, and so I started with these books. My mom read these to me. My dad read these to me. My mom read these to me over and over again. They're Dr. Seuss's Are You My Mother? The Cat in the Hat, and my absolute favorite, Green Eggs and Ham, which I think I can still read from memory in a fox with the socks on a train, but in the rain. And after that, I advanced into the Berenstain Bears, who are still a classic, and the Big Honey Hunt. I remember my father reading this to me. When I was 5 years old, my god sister gave me a gift of The World's Best Fairy Tales by Reader's Digest, and as you can tell that this book has been loved, and the illustrations and such loved to the point in which they have fallen apart. But don't fret, they were reissued maybe 10-15 years ago, and I bought them several times over to keep them, but I still love this the best. It has my signature inside, at least it used to. Let's see if it still does. Yes, it does. That's my signature as it used to be when I was young. And I loved this book to death, and now it's falling apart. But I read these books all the way through up into my teens. I loved the Hans Christian Andersen. I loved certain stories. My favorite one was East of the Sun and West of the Moon. And it's not a fairy tale you hear very often, but I love these. And I think this is published in '69. Ugh. Alrighty. Well, when we immigrated to New York City, and we lived in Brooklyn, and I don't remember loving to read as much as I did in Canada until about third grade, when I ran into Mrs. Piggle-Wiggle, and I guess she's kind of the one who started me even further in third grade. I guess we began to read more independently, and really fell in love with the library and the ability to go there. And Mrs. Piggle-Wiggle was my next step on the road. After that, I went down the road when I was in my teenage years of, besides school assignments, I found that I was absolutely fascinated by anything that was done in class. So all of the plays and the literature and the things, the canon of my third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th year. I went to a GT high school and was in GT from third grade until graduating from high school, and so I always had very lively professors and teachers who had us do all the plays, and Julius Caesar, and kind of some of the canon of the American canon in the literature. And but on the sly, I could not get enough of romance novels when I was a teenager. I have to think I didn't really read teenage literature so much. I don't remember any other than the Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew being a big draw. That wasn't a book that everybody was drawn to, but I did read a lot of romance novels, I think because maybe they were around the house. My mom left them around. She was also going through getting her bachelor's, and so I read a lot of her, one of her college assignments, so I read a lot of things like that. I also, by the time I got into my early college years, I really, really loved young adult literature. I got into Philip Pullman, Garth Nix, and then I did like Anne Rice writing as Tanith Lee. I also enjoyed Ellen Foster and books such as these, and I fell in love during the first years of college with the Odyssey. And this is beside things such as poetry, and I have a really bad magazine habit, and there are many series that I follow. Alexander Bacall Smith. I also follow Nora Roberts, who also writes as J.D. Robb. I follow Diana Gabaldon. I follow Walter Mosley, and I follow Elmore Leonard, who died last year. I find that the genres that I enjoy are fantasy, as well as science fiction, as well as crime, as well as character studies, and I'm really passionate about biographies. And I'm talking to you from my bedroom library. I hate to say that. It's a really bad habit, but there's nothing I can do about it now. I'm totally like outing myself. This is one of many libraries in my home, but this is my bedroom library, and it encompasses on one whole wall of the bedroom. Please ignore the stacks of book on my bedside table. I just absolutely adore reading, always have, and I always will. I'm trying to think of other genres. Right now, I'm really attracted to anything that I hear about from a friend, as well as read all of our lists, all our young adult reading lists, as well as our children's books. I've been checking children's books out of the library, for decades, and young adults. I don't really have an age range. I don't look for adult fiction versus children's fiction. I'm enchanted and charmed by children's literature. I love Elephant and Cat just as much as I love my adult novels that I follow. I'm also passionate about nonfiction, how-to books, because they feed my creative drive to create things and make things. I think the biggest influences I have had have been Gabriela Marquez, 100 Years of Solitude, Sandra Cisneros. I love Isabel Allende with her realism, her fantastical realism, which is kind of interesting. I'm trying to think of anything else that were addressed in the precepts of this assignment. I came to this position, this library position, in a serendipitous way, but the more I spend time working in it, I realize that it's just really a full circle moment, and I've been coming home all this time, because clearly I have wanted to be a librarian for a lot longer than I thought. That's my autobiography. That's how I got here. And that's why I'm the librarian at Newport Elementary in Crosby, Texas. Thank you.